Marc Emery, the so-called Prince of Pot, will be attending a rally in his honor this afternoon at Yonge-Dundas Square. We're going to get all the details from Cristina Tenaglia, who's live at the square. Cristina.
And Nathan and Marc Emery is here. Marc, so-called Prince of Pot, how are you feeling? You've been out of jail now for about 44 hours only.
Yeah, almost 48 hours. It's almost approaching the end of the second day, and it seems like the prison experience is so quickly fading into my memory, because what I did before I went to jail was I was out on my farewell tour and in Toronto and other cities across Canada, and I was talking to people about the future and about what we had to do while I was gone. And I will say this, a lot was accomplished while I was gone. I watched some wonderful things from jail. I saw Colorado and Washington get legalized. I saw licensed providers begin to operate in Canada, and that's a great thing to have too. I saw progress in Uruguay, and now it's about to be legal in Oregon, Washington, D.C., and Alaska. So it's happening.
And what you're interested in, though, is progress here in Canada. So I want to point out to our viewers at home, you've just been released from prison after spending 4.5 years there for selling marijuana seeds to Americans through the mail. Why'd you do it?
Well, because I was able to raise millions of dollars to give away to Americans. One of the reasons I was arrested, the DEA's own press statement said, was to stop all that money I was giving to legalization groups. I never kept any of that money with the seeds. I gave $5 million to American and Canadian legalization groups over a 10-year period, and we actually helped, with that money, get legalization of medical marijuana in Washington, D.C., in Colorado, Arizona, and we contributed to campaigns in Alaska and other states, as well as class action suits against the U.S. federal government. So it was just a giant fundraiser scheme. As it turns out, it also provided North America with unparalleled marijuana genetics that's probably improved the marijuana that's grown here tenfold. And now all that marijuana I help provide with my seeds shows up in all these medical marijuana facilities. So it's had a totally wonderful comeback, is that the world is much more enriched by the money I gave away, and it's much more enriched by the genetics I spread around. So I feel very accomplished. I'm feeling good. I
want to say quickly, you talked about this fundraising scheme, but it got you in trouble. This is why you're here. You want the legalization of marijuana to be an election issue, but you got to understand, I know you have a lot of supporters, but there's a lot of people that go, I don't want this around my kids. I don't want this in my neighborhood. What's your message to those people?
That's the wrong question. You shouldn't be asking, I don't want marijuana around my kids, because now we have the conservative government, a prohibitionist government, and marijuana is all around your kids. So why blame legalization on that? Legalization is going to eliminate that problem. First of all, it's going to take away a certain amount of mystique. When marijuana is legal and it's not an outlaw product anymore, especially if kids see their parents smoking pot, that'll turn them off pot. You know, there's nothing more uncool than what your parents doing. That's why your parents talking about sex and marijuana is repellent. I don't want to hear about the things you think are cool, Mom and Dad, because now I can never do those, right? So that parents should be asking, do I want my children to have a criminal record? Because at 15 or 16 or 17, they smoked marijuana, and that almost winnowed them into a lifestyle completely different from what any parent wants. You don't want your children to not be able to go to a university in the United States. You don't want your children not to be able to go get a job in the United States. You don't want your children to be have difficulties traveling or getting jobs in financial institutions or law enforcement. And that's what a criminal record's going to do. So it's not, how do I keep my children from seeing and getting marijuana, is how do I keep my children from getting into trouble if they smoke marijuana? Because they're going to try marijuana, and that marijuana is going to come from their best friend. It's not some shadowy man with a jacket trying to sell kids drugs. It's their best friend. That's how every one of us who smokes marijuana now was introduced by marijuana, by one of our best friends, who we're still best friend with. So it wouldn't be good if our best friend had gone to jail for selling me marijuana that I turned out to really like. And parents just have to be a little more open to that their kids are going to experiment. Don't drink alcohol, don't smoke tobacco, but the pot's okay.
Okay, Marc, thanks so much. We got to go. There's a good number of people here to see him. Marc's message, trying to get it out across the country, is a big supporter of Justin Trudeau, who has said he supports the legalization of marijuana. Back to you.